What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you some more Yu-Gi-Oh content. So let us swing on in. So our last locals, we took heroes and we did pretty decently well. Today we've got another new deck that we have been wanting to try. We've had it picked up for quite some time. A Megaton Rarity Collection, previous Rarity Collections helped us finally build this deck. And we're actually going to go with Kashtira. So it's going to be a little different than the Kashtira Fiendsmith deck that we saw at YCS Bologna, and also very different than some like standard Kashtira builds. This is going to be my take, my spin on the deck, just to see how well we can do it with like a rogue Kashtira, because I think Kashtira is pretty rogue. It's there to just kind of break boards and just put pressure on our opponent. So let me show you the deck profile that we are rocking with, and then we'll head out to locals to see how well we can do with it. All right, let me show you the deck profile that we are cooking with. So this is going to be my first time actually playing Kashtira in person. But we are going to start off with 3 copies of Fenrir, 3 copies of Unicorn, 3 copies of Rise Heart. And this is where things can get a little controversial. We're playing 2 copies of Scareclaw Kashtira, 1 Ogre, and 1 Tier Cash. So the reasoning behind the 2 copies of Scareclaw Kashtira is just because it is an out to a lot of boards that make a monster that that's quote unquote unaffected or whatever. This is not an activated effect or whatever, but it is just a good out to boards like that. So that way your Kashtira monsters will always be live and readily available to just kind of swing over. Then for Kashtira spells, we are playing 3 copies of Raitsoth, 3 copies of Theosis, 2 Birth, and 1 Preparations. So I think this is just a pretty good lineup. I went back and forth toggling between like 3 Birth, 2 Birth, but I think we're going to try it with 2 Birth and just see what happens. And then as for the rest of the deck, so this is all the Kashtira engine. So, you know, that's about 20, I think it's 24 cards in total, 23. So we're left with a lot of non-engine. So we have 1 Terraforming with Pot of Prosperity, because Extra Deck is just free, and Terraforming gets us into Raitsoth, 1 card starter combo, whatever. And then the rest of it is just hand traps. So we are playing 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Droll, because Droll is a really good card this format, 3 copies of Veiler, and then again another controversial 3 copies of Imperm, or Shifter, sorry. Shifter does turn off Veiler and Droll, but so far in testing we haven't seen Shifter all that often, so I think we'll be okay. 3 copies of Imperm and then 1 Call by the Grave, just to hit other pesky hand traps that get thrown at us. But I think Effect Negation is really what we need for the format at the moment, so that's what we're going for. Moving to the Extra Deck, we are playing 2 copies of Shangri-Ira, just because Shangri-Ira is really good. 1 copy of number 11 Big Eye, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, 1 number 76 Harmonizer Gradiel, 1 Red Eyes Flare, 1 Typhon, and 1 Zeus for our X-Seeds. Normally there would be like a whole bunch of other X-Seeds that Kashtira does play, like the Dark Arm, the Dragon Annihilation, Blaze, Supreme Ruler of all Dragons, the Gaia Dragon Champion. Those are all cards that are normally played, but we don't have them, so we're just playing the deck without it. And in turn, we are playing a Link engine, playing 2 Link Spider with 1 G Golem Crystal Heart, 1 Haggard Lazardos, 1 SP, 1 Heat Soul, and 1 Underworld Goddess. So I think the Heat Soul line is pretty cool, just being able to just draw into non-engine or engine as needed, and then just kind of go from there. Lizardos is a spot removal like SP. So we're excited to see how well we can pilot this deck. That's the, I mean, it's not the one Vsauce lore I haven't piloted yet. So, and then moving to the side is just kind of more board breaker like approach. We're playing 3 Perulia, 3 Spooky Dogwood, 3 Tact, 3 Thrust, 1 Deep Barrier, 1 Dimension Ground, 1 Threatening Roar, and 3 Evenly Matched. Because we want to play around the whole shifter aspect of the deck, so we're playing cards in our side that can play with shifter, and these are all cards that can't play with shifter, so that's what we're going for. Hopefully, you know, this turns out well. We are playing like an older school variation of Kashtira, just because Fiendsmith is a little out of our budget, so we're just kind of going with this anti-meta like approach, and we'll see what happens. So you guys, here we are at Duke City Games, round 1. So going in with the deck, I was very pleased. Game 1, we saw shifter, and we just take it with shifter. We were playing against Tri Brigade, so they kind of need the graveyard. So we just shut out the graveyard, and they got nothing. Game 2, we saw shifter again, and we shifted him twice because he was able to manage and survive. But we ended up taking it in game 2 with just shifter control again. It was the phenomenal, the greatest. He ended up on his board with SB, Doom, Kragan, and Rugelscheller in the game 2. We just rate soft, search Unicorn, special Unicorn, move towards battle, get rid of SP, and then just play. Because the Doom Eagle and Rugelscheller weren't doing anything. It was just the SP, and with our hand, we weren't going to play around SP. So just swinging over the SP for damage and then just controlling the game from there was the right call, and we were able to just take it. So we're one round win, with 4 more rounds to go. We got a big crowd tonight with, you know, new format, new ban lists. Honestly, I think we're looking pretty good with the deck just being a control the board state kind of deck. So we'll see what happens from here. Round 2. We play against Chimera Illusion, Fiendsmith, and this is a deck we've always struggled against. But game 1, we open up first, and we just set up the board. We had all the interrupts. We had Droll, an Imperm, all the Kashtiras. We were full combo, and he had nothing to break it, so we take it. Game 2 was a little bit of a struggle. He was able to set up his board. We tried Perulia, but he had the Ash and then the Wanted, so he had like the gas for his hand. I tried my best to break it, but couldn't break it. Game 3, we go first, and we see D-Barrier, Imperm, Preparations, Shifter, and there was one other card. I just don't remember what it was. But we set the 3, kept 2 in hand, passed. Oh, it was the Ash. It was the Ash. That's what we had. We go Shifter on his turns. That way Shifter was live on my turn, so he couldn't do any funny on my turn. We hit him with the Shifter, we hit him with the Ash, we hit him with the Imperm, he hit us for damage. We top decked the Rise Heart. We were trying to do Rise Heart plays, and we kind of succeeded, but didn't. But then we just held for the comeback, and we were able to take it. D-Barrier was able to shut him down on his turn, so he couldn't do any further plays. We stopped the Deceptions with the D-Barrier, the Hollow Azumina when he tried to go Fusion Summon, and we just were like, D-Barrier? Call Fusion? And that hurt, and we were able to just take it on the clap back. So we're 2-0 right now. We still got 3 rounds to go, so I ain't gonna get cocky again. We've seen some Raziel, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen any Malice players in the pool of players. I'll be joining them soon, right as soon as my deck arrives. We have like pretty much everything but Malice. So since, you know, we've been playing Cyber since like the conception. I mean, Adagmister, Code Talker, which we haven't debuted yet on the channel, Marincess, Mathmech, my beloved favorite, G-Golem, which we also haven't played on the channel, Salamangreat, which we also haven't played on the channel. So yeah, I've got like pretty much every cyber strategy you can think of. So Malice will be the next one to add to the group. But anyways, 3 rounds to go. We'll see where we go. Round 3, we play against Pure Fiendsmith. So they had game 1, they won the die roll, they go first. They were able to set up their board. We had the Shifter, but he had the Called By for it. and then we had a Veiler that was just not enough to like stop him or apply too much pressure. It turns back turn to me, and we try to go combo off, and we went Unicorn, negate, Fenrir, negate. We just swung over what he had on board. We went into the whole Heat Soul path, so we were able to get some draws, but they weren't good enough draws to like really help us. So we ended up losing game 1. Game 2, we just did combo again, and we were able to just control the tempo, and we took it. Game 3, we were hoping to see a great top deck of our life, and we never did, and he ended up taking it. So when we have Shifter, we kind of win, but sometimes we just don't with Shifter. Oh well, 2-1, still 2 more rounds, maybe. I don't know, I heard rumor that it was 4 rounds rather than the 5, so we'll see. Round 4, we play against the deck that won the YCS, Dean Smith Riziel. So game 1, we go first. He nibs, and we were still able to play through nib, and we were able to control the tempo on his turn for a bit. Able to take game 1. Game 2, he went first, and he was able to just like full blow and go off and do his thing. Game 2, we go first, and we didn't draw the best, or game 3, sorry. Game 3, we didn't draw the best hand, so we were just kind of left with what we had. We had Shifter and Droll, so we shifted on my turn. He passed it back to me. I go summon Unicorn because I top decked it, which was great. He Mournered Unicorn, so we just swung for 25. We had the Droll, but he was able to play through the Droll, and he was able to control the tempo again in his favor, so he was able to take it in game 3. So we are 2-2 with 1 round left. We'll see what happens. So far, Kashtira does really good. When we do end on hands that aren't like really optimal, that's where it like really goes downhill. If we open more hand traps versus engine, I think that would be better. But unfortunately, we've been like drawing either just straight engine or straight hand trap. So it's been like a mix where it hasn't been like a blended mix that was good enough for us to like really go off. So that's my analysis in round 4. We'll see where round 5 takes us. So last and final round, round 5, we play against Sky Striker. So game 1 makes us go first. We set up our board, and then he drops evenly on us, and we should have kept Kashtira Birth rather than keeping Shangri-Ira, because we could have kept Shangri-Ira, or we could have kept Birth, and Birth would have got us going on the next turn to possibly OTK, and also get rid of some spells that he had in his graveyard. But we weren't smart. Game 2, we were able to take it in the grind. Thankfully, we made the comeback. We were able to burn him and just drop his life points slow enough. And game 3, when we think that we have it, he just had the outs, and it didn't matter. I had the Threatening Roar in my hand, and had I had said it before I summoned my 3rd summon, we could have taken it in the game. But it is what it is. We end 2-3, placing 10th. Which sucks. We go back-to-back rounds losing, but I still think the deck is pretty good for being rogue. It definitely has its strengths and weaknesses. Its weaknesses being just its consistency still. It still can do a lot, but maybe better as an engine for a rogue deck. I think it's still good, but that's my thoughts on Cash. Anyways, that's it for those local diaries, everyone. We're hopefully going to be playing some deck that just got upped because of the ban list. And, did get hurt a little bit too, but hey, that's how it is. But that's it for this locals. We'll pass it over to you.